Welcome to Mind Your Biz, a new podcast from the Orange County Chamber of Commerce, a fresh, casual space for real conversations about business, life, and community. Hosted by me, Heather Bell, President and CEO. Each episode features one-on-one chats with local business leaders and corporate partners. We go beyond the company's headlines to explore the people behind the success, their passions, insights, and stories. Tune in for honest, inspiring conversations that showcase the human side of business and highlight what makes our county thrive. Welcome to today's episode of Mind Your Biz. I'm Heather Bell, the President and CEO of the Orange County Chamber of Commerce. I'm delighted to be joined today by our County Executive, Steve Neuhaus. Steve, thanks so much for coming on.
It's great to see you. First of all, I feel a little official. So do we high five or shake hands or whatever? No, you gotta hit though. Okay.
You want to do pat a cake?
Yeah. It's great to be here. I've walked through the studio before, so it's super awesome, and they're doing great stuff here, and it's always a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, agreed. We try to keep this podcast a little bit less formal and talk about things that people wouldn't normally know about the person that we're talking to. So tell us a little bit about your history, your first generation American.
Yeah. No, so real quick. So my parents are both immigrants. My dad's name, somebody found it at Ellis Island a couple of years ago. So it was super cool, like that cool story.
Yeah.
And I could go into it. I spoke at a naturalization ceremony last week where we, have new Americans that are, at ceremonies. But my parents have such incredible stories coming from Europe after World War II. But anyway, yeah, they raised us here in Orange County. Regular guy, went to regular schools like Monroe Woodbury High School. I went to Ox, SUNY Orange.
What made them choose Orange County?
They came to Brooklyn, like a lot of people went to New York City when they came over across. They came in on boats, right?
Wow.
And they would come up on vacation to Greenwood Lake and for the weekends and Monroe. Mm-hmm. So it's just incredible stuff. So they ended up moving here. My mom was a hairdresser. My dad was a dentist. And they supported each other since they were younger, helped my dad go through dental school and she helped pay the bills. So they have an incredible marriage and incredible, they're just loving, good parents. I get, as county executive, I see a lot of good and bad in society. Mm-hmm. And, child protective services and things like that. And of course we have friends. My parents just have a wonderful marriage and have been really great parents to myself and my two sisters. So grew up around here and graduated Mount St. Mary College. And right before my graduation, I met this lady. She goes, "Oh, you would hit it off with my husband." And her name was Joan Poor, Harry Poor's wife.
Oh,
so I just met him and I was like a young Republican, wanted to get in government. And him and I talk in his office for a half hour. And as I'm leaving, the girls that are in the office say, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Going back home." They're like, "You got to go see that lady over there." And I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "You just got hired. You're starting here on Monday." I had no idea I was being interviewed. So I've had a long relationship with him. And anyway, that started me with government. And I went back and forth with private sector and government my whole life.
Mm-hmm. Now, I understand that you have honeybees.
Yeah.
Tell me what got you into raising honeybees, and do you sell the honey? Like, are you an entrepreneur as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. So first off, I am a CB, combat warfare officer in the Navy. So I never picked it. I joined the Navy after 9/11. I'd worked in Tower 2, the World Trade Center. And then in October, I joined the Army Guard. And then about 4 years later, I get recruited to join the Navy. Long story short, I just wanted to be a Navy officer. They called me up. It was like, "Hey, this is Naval Intelligence. We would love to make you a Naval officer." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's obviously a joke compared to the Army." I'm like, "It's the Navy. It's got to be so easy. I'll be in Florida all the time, in Hawaii." And they assigned me to this weird group called the Seabees. I had no idea what they were. And now I'm super proud to be part of it. And so I'm a CB combat warfare officer. Years ago, about 10, 12 years ago, I'm running for county executive. And I'm knocking on random people's doors. So I knock on this guy's door, and he's a beekeeper. He goes, "What do you do?" I said, "Oh, I'm a CB." I said, "You know what? About half of the CBs that are in my battalion are beekeepers."
Really?
And he goes, "Do you want me to vote for you?" I said, "Yes." And he goes, "Come back next Saturday." I said, "Okay." I come back next Saturday. He's got all sorts of wood piled up on his front step. He goes, "That's a beehive. here's the instructions, put it together. When you have it put together, come back the week after that. He gave me my first, I paid him for the wood and everything. And my daughter, who's now 15, she at the time was little. She and I would glue and little tiny nails. And that's how I got started. So I will tell you, so it's been about 10, 12 years or so that I've been doing beekeeping. I've had a lot of failures. They've died. They've not made it through the winter. That's the hardest part. I'm killing it now. So much so that I got 300 pounds of honey in the last 2 weeks. So it's timely that you're asking this. And my dad, who jars it like the guy from the movie Scarface, like literally, he's making sure it's whatever 8 ounces in a thing. I'm like, Dad, that's the German in him. He's got tamper-proof labels on it with me and all this stuff. But yeah, we're going to start selling it, and I think I'm going to sell it at Quaker Creek, which is in Warwick. It's a awesome butcher store, and they sell such cool stuff. But it's the only place that I'm just a customer at. Everywhere else, I do business or the county, or we've done a podcast there. I'm like, I've never done something there. I love going there. They're great people. Let's do a deal. So I'll just start selling
the deer processing place, right?
They do everything. They obviously do like mostly cattle and pork and things like that. They sell their like the best food around and the best deli stuff.
Well, I look forward to trying it because
the honey's great.
The only time I've had it is when Warwick Chocolate put it into their chocolates for our gala. So.
I've also had like Pennings. We talked about putting it in their cider.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's so awesome. You would appreciate this because I got 2 daughters, and 99% of the bees are women or girls.
Yeah, I've heard.
The guys do nothing.
Yeah.
They're drones or guys. They basically have one job, and that's when the queen needs to, mate. But otherwise they hang around. They don't sting. They don't have stingers. They literally can't do anything. They can't protect the hive. But every one of the other bees have jobs, and they're so industrious. So that's how the sea bees got their name. It was construction battalions. And they were going to have like the beaver be our symbol back then. But then they said, nah, that's not going to work. Let's go with CBs, and that's...
What a great story. I'm looking forward to trying some.
Yeah.
Because most people don't know this, but you're supposed to, for natural organic purposes, you're supposed to eat honey that is pollinated where you live.
Yeah.
Because that helps with your allergies. So you can throw the Claritin out, get rid of all the drugs, and just eat a tablespoon of local honey every day for your allergies.
And you keep up, and it's kind of like this weird society of beekeepers. So like I was in Hawaii once for the Navy, and I went to a farmer's market, and I started talking to people. I'm in Italy for the Navy, go to a farmer's market, you start talking to fellow beekeepers. And they have this rule: if you're traveling to another country or another state and you meet another beekeeper, you give them a jar of your honey.
Oh, that's nice.
Super cool.
I like that.
And they're all different. You can imagine.
So you travel with little jars?
I don't, but when I go, if they come here, I'll give them stuff.
Yep.
And I've never sold it really at all before. This year I'm going to sell it because it's just there's a lot of work. And I started doing this by myself with friends helping me. Now my dad, who's like 84, 85, I got him a bee suit for his birthday 3 years ago. He's a great helper. I got a suit for my kids. My daughter, who's 13, just helped me last week, did a lot of work with me. And none of the 3 of us were stung. And we try to do as minimal damage to the beehive as possible.
Yeah, that's one thing I can say, knowing what I do about your family, is you're hard workers.
Yeah.
And you have a great love of country. But there's always something that you're working on.
Yeah. And when you have a farm, that's pretty much what you have. So anybody listening knows that your house or your business, you're always like, oh, we got to straighten up this, or you always have a to-do list. The farm is uber that level because the grass is always growing. You have to plow snow in the winter.
Yeah.
Something is always breaking. But it's fun. It keeps you busy. My parents are such in good health for their age, and I think it's because they're such hard workers. They definitely enjoy life and have fun, but they are a epitome of a life well planned. So they put enough money away to save for their kids, put enough money to save for their vacations, put enough money and worked hard to save for their health care and stuff. So really good role models for myself and my family, and I push that on my kids too.
And it's nice to hear where your roots are from. Often people just, they turn into your podcast twice a week, or, they're hearing you talk out in public. But to hear about your roots and about your family's morals and values, I think that's important too. What made you decide, okay, I'm going to run for county executive? What was it, 12 years ago?
Yeah. So I was a town supervisor. I like the private sector too. So I'm not just like government.
You
I
do
worked in the
engage
World
public
Trade-
and private
yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
It's there's the courage of everybody you represent is amazing. Like we get to meet and I'm very intimately involved with the chamber. I love going to the events because I think it's core. It is literally, I'm giving my budgeted address for 10 years in a row. We're cutting taxes. And that's just not like a cliche, happy, people, everybody says they do, they never do it.
Right.
And I'm actually using my tax bill from 10 years ago to today and showing that what that relief provides for people. But the courage of the members starting a business, the high risk of failure, but still doing it.
I always like to break it down and say, look around. We're in a coffee shop. There's so much overhead. How many cups of coffee do you think that this individual has to sell to not even break even, but now consider I made a profit, I can pay myself?
Or if something bad happens, a pipe breaks or something goes wrong, and then they have to mitigate that. So I was a town supervisor in Chester, which I loved. It's a wonderful community, blue collar community. My dad opened a shingle there as a dentist years ago. And I decided to run. I thought I could do a better job for county executive. And literally everybody came up to me. I had all these different emissaries, if that's the proper word, of people coming up to me and saying, "You're too young. You don't have enough
they were
gray
adversarial.
hair."
Yeah.
But they were emissaries from the other camps.
Okay.
If you back this guy or you back this girl, we'll make you a deputy, second removed, twice removed, a department head someday in 10 years. And I said no to all of them. I decided to say, the hell with it. I'm going to run against them all. I had like $30,000. The guy I was running against at the top had about $500,000. The next guy had about $125,000. And then there was a lady that had about $100,000. I had $30,000 in the dream. Most of the big industries and big political donors in the county didn't want to talk to me because they didn't want to have retribution from the other parties. But I had a lot of people behind me, and the military has really been the best thing besides my family to really mold me. And you've done this too, and you know the military, you live the military family. It teaches you things that you can do that you never thought you could do.
Yeah.
And it gives you the power to say, I'm going to do it. And if you tell me no, that's going to give me fuel to do it.
Oh, yeah. It fuels your confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you go to boot camp, for people listening, just basic training, and they tell you got to do this, you're like, hell no, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's exercises we do that, let's say they take 12 people, like a platoon size. You can't do the exercise with 10 people. You can only do it with 12.
Right.
And they teach you these exercises, and it just teaches you teamwork.
Strategic planning, thinking, the decision making, all of those things help make you the county executive that you are. What has been your biggest challenge in these 12 years as county executive?
I think the biggest challenge is always finances, because you only have a certain amount. You have a pizza pie, and you have maybe 2 pizza pies that of demand out there.
Right.
So you really have to prioritize what's nice to have and what's have to have. And you really look.
But you've done a tremendous job with that. I mean,
we do.
$250 million surplus. You were the head of the county executives of New York State.
Yeah.
How many other counties can say that they're in?
You're absolutely right. I mean, look, we're talking about major film stars, you and I offline before we come here, the film industry in the county, all these different things. If you don't prioritize them, they don't need to be here. Mm-hmm. So the film industry, if you see a lot of the acclimates, not only for me, but the county, that say, I'm here because of Steve Neuhaus, or I'm here because of the team that Steve Neuhaus, I'm here because of the welcoming that the Chamber of Commerce has. Mm-hmm. So what a lot of people don't know is we have these regular meetings between tourism, between employment and training.
I call us the Economic Development Task Force. You're a visionary. It was so smart of you to bring all of us together.
We're constantly working. So when we have a new group of people here, so the Taiwanese ambassador, I met with him last week, and the ambassadors in Washington, they're going to come up here in October. And we're going to roll out the red carpet for them. Sure. They're going to come here. So
let's talk about the Taiwanese, because I started to talk about you being a visionary.
Yeah.
What made you say, I'm going to grab Connor Ecker and some other key players and head over to Taiwan to tell them all about why they want to come to Orange County?
Well, it was a little bit of happenstance. The good thing about the military, like I'm getting another master's degree right now from the Army War College, so I'm forced, like I couldn't tell you any sports scores. I couldn't even name a guy or a girl. If we went to events, be like, oh my God, look who that is. I couldn't even tell you who the hell they are.
Either.
My free time is spent reading, like the Pew Institute, like not very exciting stuff to table talk. I have funny stories and I can keep a great audience, as you know, and I have a lot of fun. But I immerse myself in economics and military. And a lot of them are related because these countries are pushing each other around because they need to spread their sphere of influence. So I got a call last September, just about now, and I got a call from the Prime Minister of Taiwan in New York City.
Just out of the blue, a call from the Prime Minister.
Exactly.
Okay.
And he wanted to meet with me for one reason. And it's funny. This is how weird stuff happens. I was a president of the County Execs Association. They had a problem within the governor's office. The People's Republic of China, Communist China, had infiltrated governor's office, and it was a huge FBI thing. They pushed the Taiwanese aside by using their influence. The governor didn't know this was happening, so he thought I was second in command, president of the County Execs, because they're very provincially operated and oriented in the Far East.
Okay.
So a county executive, and if you're in charge of the county executives, you got to be the second guy in command to the governor.
Okay.
So that's how we started off, but they are 100% relationship people. They don't care about money as much. They care about trusting, the old handshake type of thing. If we trust each other, so much so he said, I want you to go to Taiwan. We put a team of 5 people together, went there, had a great visit. But it kept growing after that. He said to me, the Prime Minister, I know you like to fish. I'm a big fisherman, as you know. We and I talk about it all the time. He goes, I want you to teach me how to fish. And I'm going to come up with my wife. So he came up in March. It was like a blizzard day, not a great trout fishing day. We took them fishing. He's the last guy to catch a trout. He did. But I wouldn't let him leave until he caught one. I'm like, your wife caught one. You got to catch one. This is like, American type of men and women type of thing. You got to, so we had a lot of fun, but it's been nonstop. They are treated as a second-class country to everybody, including the United Nations. The Prime Minister can't even walk into the UN building because it would set off a war between China. Red China has a seat on the Security Council of the UN, so they boycott everything they have. So the Eastern countries support them, but they're under serious threat. And I'm assigned to the Pacific Fleet now. It's a priority. The President and the Secretary of War now just mentioned this morning, like our priorities, fighting China. So they need to move that industry here. Everybody. So the Chinese are building their own there. Everybody around the world.
And out of all the places to come, they're looking at Orange County. I think that's just a testament to you.
Yeah. So the governor of Arizona was in Taiwan. Was there as well. So they're all pitching it. And by the way, there's enough for everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody can be successful, right?
Yeah.
But again, a great testament to you and your team. Especially you as a visionary, because we kind of have similar personalities. We like to walk in and drop creative grenades, right?
And we have fun though. Honestly, when we don't have fun anymore, it's time for you to retire, or me.
I was going to say, or you.
Else. Yeah, I mean, because I have passion. When I see leaders that get stale. Yeah. And once that happens, it's time to go, and that's okay. I read Colin Powell did a presentation to the county execs, and he said sometimes you have to get off the Ferris wheel.
Yes.
And he's like, you're going to get signs. But when you start having that oomph every day, like, got to go to the chamber in the morning, it's time to go. But if you're like, we got a rock star day together. Look, our schedules are crazy. Yeah. And we're barely making it on time to these places, but that's a good problem to have.
I just have to say, you are and I've worked in 3 counties in my career, one of the most involved county executives, most approachable. We thank you. I don't mean to be blowing smoke up your, I
love
right
the
now.
job.
What's your biggest accomplishment that you can say, if I'm leaving behind a legacy of being county exec, I want it to be this? I know you did a phenomenal job with the air show, keeping it in Orange County. It could have gone anywhere else. But what truly is going to make you say, I have a legacy?
I think there's a lot when I think about them, because I think that projects like Legoland is transformational. They hired a lot of people with disabilities. Yep. It's done a lot for tourism and growing the county. And I can tell you that by providing tax relief to families is a major accomplishment over the last 12 years. But in 20 years when I'm gone, or 30 years or whatever, when we're long gone, and 50 years from now, there's going to be thousands of acres of property that are forever protected here that are under threat of development. I think that's probably one of the biggest things you can say, because people want to enjoy it. It's super popular. The one thing that the pandemic taught us is we like our space.
Yes.
We like being outside.
So the preservation of the space.
So I would not be able to do that, though. Going back to the Chamber of Commerce, I'm so pro-business. And,
you are.
And I started off that Harry Porter, the deputy county executive. When I worked for him in the city of Newburgh, the first thing he did is, you got to go to these monthly meetings, Chamber of Commerce. I can't make them. I'm too busy. But that's what started me to go. Mm-hmm. So I've always went, and I've been ingrained with the business community. But if the business community is not successful, I'm not buying open space for the county. Mm-hmm. When the business community in Orange County is not successful, I'm not balancing the budget. I'm not cutting taxes. And we talked about a surplus. When I came here, we had about a $15 million surplus. Mm-hmm. I got about a $250 million right now. And that's because of the growing economy. And it's not automatic.
That's amazing. And I can't imagine that any other county in the state is in such great fiscal health, right? So now we're going to go into a little bit of fun. Okay. It's now time for the fun section of Mind Your Biz. We're going to mind Steve's biz.
Okay, good.
Okay. Rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Your first job.
Oh my God. I worked at a weather stripping factory. So bad I stapled my hand to my to the board. And back in the day, the guy came over with a putty knife, took the staples out of my hand, put a Band-Aid on, then I went back to work.
I sent you back to work.
But it was one of the best bosses I have ever had. He taught me about responsible budgeting.
Okay.
I asked him, I had a date with a girl. I know I'm ruining your questioning. I had a date with a girl 6 months into the job, and I needed more money. I spent it for the week before. And I asked him, I said, can you pay me next week's money for this week? I got a date with this girl. He goes, no, Steve, you need to learn how to budget. And I learned how to budget.
Wow, what a great experience. Totally
I'm not sure if the date ever happened, but that story definitely reminded. Yeah.
Do you remember who the girl was?
I think it was a girl. I used to go to the Amandola's Pizza in Monroe every day after school with her and have one slice of pizza. We'd have a slice of pizza together and just have a soda. Oh, yeah, very innocent. Yeah.
You still see her?
No, I don't even, God, I can't remember what happened to her. I hope she's doing well.
I'm sure she remembers that pizza.
No, it was great. We had a good time. One of my friend, Brian Carey, who's a mayor out in Otisville, he remembers that too, because we used to always go to the pizzeria together. It's just things.
So we're talking about pizza. What's your favorite pizza topping?
I like pepperoni, but I have to tell you, this weekend I ordered meatball, and my kids are like, what the heck is that? And I'm like, it's meatball. Try it. They're like, nah, we're not doing it. So it's almost like.
So no pineapple?
No.
Pineapple doesn't belong on pizza?
No.
Okay. All right.
I do. Look, like you were in the military, I'm in the military. When you get food put in front of you and you're hungry,
you just eat it.
You eat it, even if you don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I remember my first experience with MREs. I didn't want to eat any of the food that was in there, so I traded my food for everybody else's brownies. Needless to say, I was not in good shape in a digestive way for a couple of days.
I was in Africa and they couldn't offer, it was kind of Operation Lion. And I get flown in with the Air Force and we're dropped in the middle of the Sahara Desert. And it was to protect the king of Morocco. It was during the Arab Spring, and the seaborne supplies never could go. The sea state was too rough. Mm-hmm. And we had no foods. We only had MREs, but we could only do one a day. Sometimes if you're bougie, you get 2 or 3. And I wouldn't eat it. So I lost about 20 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was great for me because, besides colonoscopies, you can't lose weight that quickly.
Or the divorce diet. The divorce diet is always good.
I never heard what is that.
I never heard about the divorce. No. Everyone that gets divorced loses at least 20 pounds.
Really?
Yeah. Or they lose, let's say the ex was 150 pounds. Oh, I just lost 150 pounds. That's why it looks so good.
You have to look in shape. Oh, because you're going back on the market again, right. So you have to get in shape.
No, you lost the weight of the spouse, 150 pounds.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. I'm a little slow.
It's okay. I'll keep.
I was never an A student. I'm rocking B's now in my class, B pluses. I showed my kids when I'm trying to make them do homework at night. Like last night, I showed my son. I'm like, "You see that?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "What did it say?" He goes, B plus. I said, "That's my grade." I said, "I'm going to school too. You got to do your homework, buddy.
You got to be a role model.
We'll buy your Halloween outfit, but you got to do your homework."
So real quick, Heather fact, I went back to school when my boys were 6 and 4 to get my bachelor's degree because I wanted to be able to provide a better life for them. And I graduated with a 4.0. So
wow.
I'm driving my older son to college, and he looked at me and he said, "Do you realize how high you have set this bar?" I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull off a 3.0, let alone a 4.0. And you did it working full time and taking care of me and CJ. Yeah. Yeah.
That poor kid, you're crushing dreams at the same time.
He majored in fraternity. He had a perfect 2.0, left and went in Marine Corps, and now he's so very successful. I'm so proud of him.
My name was never like valedictorian. People were just like, "Holy crap, he graduated!" Like they say my name. So,
okay.
But no, it's
so another question. Let's do another question. Let's talk about what is your guilty pleasure.
Oh, gee, I don't even know if I have. I don't feel guilty. I think life is so short, and I say this. I don't know who I was talking to. Everywhere I go, I see so many great people I know that have passed away over the years. I don't care anymore. So I'm kind of like the guy from Office Space after he gets hypnotized, and then the hypnotist dies, and they can't get him to stop being out of control. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I am. So I think of things like if I see something, if we walk by a restaurant and I say, "Wow, they have crepes. Let's go in," or "Let's get ice cream." I'm not like, "Let's wait till tomorrow." I'm like, we might not have tomorrow. Right. So my guilty pleasure is like, I do anything, I obviously don't do anything illegal. I get drug tested every month, but if I can have a nice dinner tonight, I'll have a nice dinner tonight.
Okay. So what's your favorite meal?
I have to say pasta. It's been like that since birth. My mom and dad and my sisters will tell you, like, if they needed to shut me up, they put some pasta on with butter and Parmesan cheese. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not Italian. So when I went to Italy, they were like, what kind of savage American is here? Every Italian restaurant, like, this guy's a barbarian.
What about Spatzel, though? I mean, that's heritage.
Yeah, that's kinda... we call it. That's absolutely phenomenal. I love my mom makes that well, too.
That's amazing. I love Spatzel. Okay, last one. What did you want to be when you grew up?
That's a great question. You know what? My entire young adult life in high school and into early college, I watched that show St. Elsewhere. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a doctor. My grandfather was a thoracic surgeon. My dad's a dentist. My sister's a doctor. My other sister's an RN. My uncle's a nurse. My brother-in-law is a doctor. Then there's me and my mom. My mom didn't want to do the medical thing either. So I went to college as pre-med, and I wanted to do a doctor. And George Bush lost to Bill Clinton. And I was just so patriotic.
That was it.
I was like, this guy is in World War II, and this guy left the country to flee being drafted.
Yeah.
So that's what literally turned my life. But I do believe that's why I like emergency management so much, because I want to be part of this helping people.
I seriously think that we are the safest county in America because you and Sheriff Arteta and all of your team the DA, you take great pride in ensuring safety.
Every emergency, I want to be on the front lines.
Yeah.
I'm a lead from the front type of guy. And I love tomorrow's we're doing our Meritorious Service Awards for incredible stuff going on here every day. You've been to the 911 center a million times, but we just did a video on how 911 works. That's coming out. People have no idea the amount of men and women that are out there doing this crazy life-saving stuff every day right now as we're sitting here. So that's why I love
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That's so important to pull back the curtain and actually show the general public what's behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So great job.
The fun stuff that you and I get a chance to look at and the people hear a taste of. That's what these are so great for. We talked about the film industry booming here.
Yeah.
We have the biggest studio in Orange County in the Hudson Valley right now. That's operational, fully operational. 400 people working there today. The lowest paid person is $1,100 a day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible the work there.
Oh, we could be sitting here all day talking about skilled workforce.
I'm just saying, like, this is the impact that a very good, robust Chamber of Commerce and economy has. You can talk about fun stuff.
And we so appreciate all the support that we get from you and all of our partners in the county. Thank you so much for being with us today, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Mind Your Biz. I look forward to seeing you soon.